Before we dive into this incredible story, comment below and let us know where you're watching from. Enjoy the tale. William Lancaster, an arrogant millionaire, held a wedding invitation in his hands. It was from his ex-fiancée, the woman who had left him for someone else without hesitation. Now she had sent an invitation, as if she wanted to rub her happiness in his face. "Is this a joke?" he muttered, tossing the envelope onto the table. His friend Damien Carter picked up the invitation and whistled. "That's a low blow. Are you going?" William let out a dry laugh. "And show up alone like a failure? No way. Then take someone. Show her you've moved on." It was a good idea, but taking just anyone wouldn't be enough. He needed to make an impact to leave Olivia wondering what he was up to. Later that day, as he left his office, he was still thinking about it when he noticed a young woman sitting on the sidewalk in front of a restaurant. She was dirty, her clothes worn out, but she had a beautiful face. Her messy hair fell over her shoulders, and her eyes weren't pleading, they were defiant. On impulse, he walked over to her. He approached with hands in his pockets, looking down at her. "Hey, you need money?" The woman looked up, but not with gratitude. Her gaze was sharp, as if she were deciding whether he was even worth a second of her attention. Then a smirk appeared on her lips. "What is this, a social experiment? You ask, and depending on my answer, you either toss me a coin or walk away." William's eyebrows lifted. No one talked to him like that. "Come with me to an event, and I'll pay you enough to change your life." She let out a quiet chuckle, shaking her head slowly. "Enough to change my life? Wow, do you always use dramatic lines or just when you want to sound like some kind of savior?" There was pure sarcasm in her voice, and it threw him off more than it should have. He kept his composure. "You just need to dress up, smile, and come with me." She tilted her head, amusement flickering in her eyes. "Oh, I see. You want me to be your decorative doll for the night." William narrowed his eyes. This woman was challenging him on purpose. "If you don't want the offer, I can find someone else." She laughed out loud this time. "Is this a joke? Because honestly, I don't see a line of candidates waiting around here." He pressed his lips together. How the hell was she turning this around on him? She stood up, dusted off her dress and stepped closer, too close. "I'll accept," she said as if she were doing him a favor. "But only because I'm curious." William felt something dangerous in the air. "Curious? Curious about what?" he asked, suspicious. She smiled, her eyes glowing with an unreadable expression. "To see how far a man like you is willing to go." William stood still for a moment. Who the hell was this woman? Isabella settled into the seat of the luxury car, keeping her gaze fixed on the city passing by outside the window. She didn't seem scared, nervous, or impressed, just observant. William, sitting beside her, realized he was waiting for some kind of reaction from her. No questions, no hesitation, just acceptance. "You don't even want to know where we're going?" he asked, breaking the silence. She turned to him, a smirk playing on her lips. "Someplace expensive, I imagine?" William raised an eyebrow. "And you're not curious?" "Should I be?" She tilted her head. "You found me on the street and offered me money to be your date. That's already strange enough, but I doubt you're planning to sell me into human trafficking or something." William laughed. "No, nothing that dramatic. Just a social event." "A wedding, right?" He looked at her. "How do you know?" "You have that look. A man trying to get revenge on someone." William clenched his jaw. Isabella was reading him like an open book and he didn't like it. "And if I am?" She shrugged. "Does it matter to me? As long as I get paid." William smiled. He liked her attitude, but he still wanted to understand who this woman was. Someone who accepted everything so easily. Minutes later, the car stopped in front of an elegant building, a renowned beauty salon. Isabella stepped out without question and followed William inside. The place smelled of expensive products, and a team of stylists rushed to assist them the moment he entered. "I want a complete transformation," William ordered. "Hair, makeup, clothes, everything." The staff nodded, and within seconds Isabella was seated in a styling chair. "If you want to change your mind, now's the time," she said as a hairdresser began untangling her hair. "Change my mind about what?" "About me. I guess I was expecting someone more impressionable." William crossed his arms. "Are you not impressed by anything?" "Not by this," Isabella said, closing her eyes as the hairdresser started washing her hair. "I've been in this world before." William frowned, but before he could ask anything, the stylist pulled him toward the waiting area. "Mr. Lancaster, would you let us work?" He glanced at Isabella one last time and left, intrigued. The hours dragged on. When the stylist finally called his name, William stood up and walked back to the salon. When he saw her, he held his breath. The woman standing before him didn't look like the same person he had met sitting on the curb. Her once messy hair now fell in smooth, shiny waves. Her face, previously dirty and marked with exhaustion, was now flawless. Her eyes were accentuated by sophisticated makeup. The fitted dress flattered her figure, and the high heels made her look even more confident. But what surprised him the most was her expression. She didn't seem shocked or impressed by her transformation. She simply looked at herself in the mirror, observing as if she had seen herself like this before. "What is it?" She turned to him, catching his curious gaze. "You don't look surprised." Isabella smiled, a mysterious glint in her eyes. "Because I'm not." William crossed his arms. "Who are you, Isabella?" She grabbed the purse the stylist handed her and walked toward him. "Someone who knows how to seize good opportunities when they come." The car glided smoothly down the illuminated road toward the event William had been avoiding but was now eager to attend. Beside him, Isabella observed the landscape with an almost irritating calm. He had expected her to show some anxiety or nervousness at some point, but since leaving the salon, her composure remained flawless, as if she were already familiar with that world. "You're very quiet," William commented, glancing away from the road to look at her. "I'm just enjoying the silence," Isabella replied with a faint smile. He frowned. "Most people in your situation would be dazzled by all this." She laughed softly. "Maybe I'm not like most people." William realized that pressing her further wouldn't get him anywhere. There was something about her that intrigued him, but he wouldn't get answers so easily. The car finally stopped in front of the luxurious banquet hall, where hundreds of elite guests had already gathered outside. Couples stepped out of limousines and sports cars, showing off their jewelry and designer dresses. Photographers and journalists covered the event, ensuring every detail of the wedding was documented for the society pages. William got out first, adjusting his suit naturally, then extended his hand to Isabella, who accepted without hesitation. When she stepped out of the car, the immediate impact was undeniable. All eyes turned to her. Women whispered among themselves, trying to figure out who the mysterious woman accompanying William Lancaster was. Men watched her with interest. Isabella, however, didn't flinch. With impeccable poise, she lifted her chin and smiled discreetly, as if she were already used to being the center of attention. William guided her down the red carpet toward the entrance of the hall. As they walked, Isabella maintained a serene expression, showing no surprise at the luxurious surroundings. "Follow my lead," William whispered. "Be polite, smile, and don't draw unnecessary attention." She raised an eyebrow. "Did you bring me here to make your ex jealous or to be invisible?" William pressed his lips together, not answering. "That's what I thought," Isabella said with amusement. They passed through the double doors and entered the grand hall, where crystal chandeliers sparkled under golden light. The room was filled with high society figures dressed in their finest attire. It didn't take long for Olivia and her fiancé to come into William's line of sight. Olivia looked stunning in an elegant white dress, her smile perfectly crafted to charm everyone. Charles Montrose, her future husband, was exactly the type her family would approve of, wealthy, traditional, and predictable. Olivia's eyes met William's for a brief second. She seemed surprised to see him there, but then her gaze landed on Isabella and froze. Olivia's expression changed subtly, as if trying to figure out who this dazzling woman next to her ex-fiancé was. With a calculated smile, William led Isabella directly toward them. "Olivia," he greeted her with a polite yet cold tone. She blinked a few times before forcing a smile. "William, what a surprise. I didn't expect you to come." "Of course I came," he said, looking at Isabella. "And I brought company." Olivia examined Isabella from head to toe. "We haven't been introduced." "You are?" Before William could respond, Isabella extended her hand naturally. "Isabella. A pleasure to meet you." Her voice was firm and elegant, her posture flawless, and her smile showed no sign of submission. Olivia hesitated before shaking her hand, clearly uncomfortable. "You look familiar," Olivia remarked. Isabella smiled, tilting her head slightly. "Do I?" Olivia forced another smile, but William noticed the tension in her eyes. She was unsettled, exactly as he wanted. Charles cleared his throat, trying to break the awkward atmosphere. "Shall we toast?" He raised his champagne glass. William nodded, but before he could turn, Isabella gave a polite smile and said something that caught everyone off guard. "I hope you'll be very happy. Marriage is a serious commitment. I was once engaged myself." William froze. Olivia and Charles exchanged glances. Really? Olivia asked, forcing a casual tone. Isabella nodded, taking a sip of champagne. But it didn't work out. My fiancé decided I wasn't the right choice for his family. William felt a chill run through him. She was sending a clear message and Olivia caught it. His ex-fiancée's eyes narrowed slightly. That's an interesting coincidence. Isabella smiled. I think so too. An uncomfortable silence filled the air. William could tell Olivia was struggling to keep her composure. Finally, Isabella lightly touched William's arm. Would you like to dance? He blinked, surprised. Dance? Yes, she said. Or would you rather stay here and watch your ex-fiancée try to figure out where she knows me from? William chuckled softly. He liked the game Isabella was playing. Let's dance. They walked away, leaving Olivia behind, visibly disturbed. As they glided across the dance floor to the orchestra's melody, William looked straight into Isabella's eyes. You did that on purpose. She smiled. Didn't I tell you? I've been in this world before. William felt a mix of irritation and admiration. Isabella wasn't just a homeless woman he had found on the street. She knew exactly what she was doing. The music flowed smoothly through the ballroom as William and Isabella moved across the dance floor. His gaze remained locked on hers, trying to figure her out. Isabella maintained flawless composure, her lips curved into a mysterious smile, as if she knew exactly what she was doing. You keep surprising me, William murmured, leading her with precision. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Isabella arched an eyebrow. I haven't decided yet. She laughed softly, her eyes sparkling with amusement. I think you've already realized that I'm not exactly what I seem. I've realized that you know much more about this world than you should. Isabella tilted her head slightly. Let's just say I've been surrounded by people like this before. Before William could ask more, a group of businessmen approached, holding champagne glasses and offering friendly smiles. They were investors and magnates William knew well. Lancaster, one of them said, shaking William's hand. You finally decided to show up at a social event. William returned a firm handshake. I thought it would be interesting to celebrate the couple. The businessman's attention quickly shifted to Isabella, studying her with interest. And who is your lovely companion? Before William could respond, Isabella stepped forward and extended her hand naturally. Isabella. A pleasure to meet you. She spoke with such natural confidence that none of the businessmen questioned her presence. Isabella, one of them repeated, studying her. Your face looks familiar. Isabella smiled, keeping the mystery alive. Perhaps we've met at an event before. The businessman nodded thoughtfully but didn't press further. William watched her closely. Isabella was blending in far too easily. And what do you do, Isabella? Another businessman asked, intrigued. She picked up a champagne glass from a passing waiter, swirling the liquid before answering. I enjoy observing the financial market. The rise in technology investments has been quite interesting lately, especially the new startups focused on artificial intelligence. There was a brief silence. William almost laughed at the surprised expressions on the businessmen's faces. None of them had expected such an articulate response. That's a rather specific topic, one of the men commented. Isabella smiled, taking a sip of her drink. I just follow trends. After all, everything comes down to who gets the inside information first, doesn't it? The men laughed, now more at ease. Isabella had captured their interest. William, however, felt a growing frustration. Isabella wasn't just fitting in, she was taking over. Before he could intervene, a tall man with a distinguished appearance approached. Damian Blackwood, one of the country's most influential investors, known for his sharp business instincts and his ability to size people up quickly. Isabella, right? Damian looked at her with interest. You seem very comfortable here. She turned to him with a polite smile. Maybe because I am. Damian laughed. I like that. And what's your relationship with Lancaster? She shot William a playful look before answering. Just an interesting partnership. William felt his blood boil. Isabella was playing her own game and he didn't like losing control. Indeed, William interjected, taking the glass from her hand and handing it to a waiter. Now, if you'll excuse us, I need to steal my companion for a moment. He grabbed her wrist and led her to a more secluded area of the ballroom. What exactly are you doing? He asked through clenched teeth. Isabella smiled. Just having fun. You're standing out too much. Wasn't that the plan, to make your ex-fiancée jealous? William narrowed his eyes. You play very well, Isabella? She tilted her head. And you don't like it when you can't control the game, do you? William let out a short laugh. You're not just a simple beggar. Isabella crossed her arms. And it took you a while to figure that out. Before he could respond, Olivia appeared beside them. I hope you're enjoying the party, she said politely, though her eyes assessed Isabella cautiously. Very much, Isabella answered before William could speak. Olivia forced a calculated smile. You know, Isabella, I feel like we've met before. Maybe, Isabella replied with a shrug. The high society world can be small after all. William noticed the way Olivia pressed her lips together. And where do you know William from? Olivia insisted. Isabella smiled. I think it's more fun if that stays a mystery. Olivia let out a soft laugh, though there was something sharp in her gaze. Of course. Mystery always adds an interesting touch to stories. She turned to William. Can we talk for a moment? William nodded, but before stepping away, he cast one last look at Isabella. She simply smiled as if she knew exactly what she was doing. William followed Olivia to a private balcony. The night was cold and the city lights sparkled in the distance, but the look on the woman in front of him burned like fire. Who is she, William? Olivia asked bluntly, crossing her arms over her immaculate dress. He kept his expression neutral. Isabella, my companion? She let out a dry laugh. Don't treat me like a fool. I know the kind of woman you bring to events like this, and she doesn't fit the mold. William felt a surge of irritation. What exactly do you want to know, Olivia? She stared at him intensely. Where did she come from? He hesitated for a second, and that was enough for Olivia to catch on. My God, she whispered as if she had pieced the puzzle together. You found this woman on the street, didn't you? William didn't confirm it, but his silence said it all. This is unbelievable, Olivia said with a disbelieving laugh. You brought a beggar to provoke me. I brought a confident, intelligent woman who fits in here perfectly, he countered firmly. A woman who knows too much for someone who was supposedly living on the street, Olivia retorted, narrowing her eyes. She doesn't belong in this world. Or does she? William didn't like her tone. Don't try to play games with me, Olivia. You don't have that right anymore. She raised an eyebrow. Maybe I don't, but I have the right to know who I'm dealing with. Olivia straightened her posture, as if she had already made a decision. If I were you, William, I'd be careful. That woman didn't show up in your life by chance. Without waiting for a response, she turned and walked back to the ballroom, leaving William alone with his doubts. Isabella felt the stares as she moved through the guests. It was inevitable. Since her arrival, everyone had been trying to figure out who she was. But she moved with ease as if she had always belonged there. Then Olivia appeared in front of her. You dance well. Isabella smiled. Thank you. So do you. Olivia tilted her head, studying her. And you speak well. You know how to carry yourself at an event like this. I appreciate the compliment, Isabella said calmly. It wasn't a compliment. It was an observation. Isabella noticed the tension in Olivia's eyes. You think you know me? Olivia laughed softly. I don't think. I know. Isabella kept her posture steady. Then tell me, Olivia, who do you think I am? Olivia observed her for a long moment before smiling. That's what I'm still trying to figure out. She picked up a glass of champagne from a waiter's tray. But don't worry, Isabella. I always find out. She took a sip and disappeared into the crowd. Isabella stood still, taking a deep breath. Olivia was starting to suspect something, and that was a problem. In the car, William drove in silence. Isabella watched the bright city streets, but she could tell he was unsettled. You want to ask me something, she said. I do, he said, not taking his eyes off the road. But I don't know if you'll answer. She smiled. Depends on the question. William turned the wheel, making a sharp turn. Who are you, Isabella? She crossed her legs, relaxed. The woman you chose to make an impression on your ex-fiancé. No. His jaw tightened. You know too much. You act like someone who has lived in this world before. She stayed quiet. William pulled up in front of his hotel and turned to face her. I had you investigated. She didn't look surprised. And what did you find? He studied her. Nothing. You don't exist, Isabella. No records, no recent information. It's as if you erased your own life. She gave a small smile. Maybe some things need to be erased. William felt a mix of frustration and fascination. I don't like mysteries. Then maybe I'm not the right person for you. She opened the car door and stepped out, walking into the hotel without looking back. William sat still for a moment, his fingers gripping the steering wheel. She was hiding something and he was going to find out. Isabella locked the door and leaned against it. Her heart was racing. Olivia was suspicious. William was suspicious. She looked at herself in the mirror, the luxurious dress, the flawless makeup. For a moment she looked like someone else. Or maybe she was becoming who she had always been. She pulled out the disposable phone hidden in her bag and typed a short message. He started investigating. The reply came seconds later. Then it's time for you to decide your next move. Isabella deleted the message and let out a quiet sigh. She knew she couldn't keep this secret for long, and soon William would find out the truth. William was not a patient man. He liked direct answers, absolute control over everything around him. But Isabella, she was a mystery that defied his logic, and that bothered him more than he wanted to admit. That morning as he sipped his coffee in his office, his mind was still stuck on the night before. Isabella knew things she shouldn't know. She acted like she belonged in high society, yet she had no records, didn't exist in any system. It was as if she had erased her own history. He picked up the phone and dialed a number he hadn't used in a while. "I need you to look into someone for me," he said bluntly. As soon as the call was answered, on the other end a man chuckled. "It's been a while, Lancaster. Who's the target?" "Isabella." William paused for a moment. "No last name. That makes things more interesting. I want to know everything, where she came from, who she really is, and why she seems to be hiding something. Give me 48 hours. Finally, at the baby shower, surrounded by friends and family, they revealed they were expecting a boy and a girl. William held Isabella and whispered, "We built an empire together. Now we'll build a family." She smiled, her heart overflowing with happiness. "And it'll be the best one ever." At that moment, Isabella knew she had everything she'd ever dreamed of: a home, true love, and now a growing family. And she would never be alone again. What did you think of Isabella and William's story? Leave your thoughts in the comments. Rate this story from 0 to 10. Subscribe to the channel and turn on the notifications to keep up with all our stories. And don't miss more heartwarming tales by clicking on the screen now.